Heroes.
I'm gonna be real with you, but I hate the singing. Fire Emblem Heroes is a mobile gacha featuring several heroes from across all of the Fire Emblem games. Since today marks the 1-year anniversary of its release, what better way to celebrate than to make a retrospective on it? Those of you who watched the last video I did, which was on Doki Doki Literature Club, should already know that this is not a review. Those that didn't watch it, well, now you know.
By the way, you should totally check that out if you haven't already. Of course, that's only if you've played the game.
So what does Fire Emblem Heroes do to have such a large install base? What keeps it from fading away to obscurity, kind of like what happened to Pokemon Go? Believe it or not, there's 3 key factors they've done to keep people invested. And no, I don't mean that kind of fan service, even though this game does have that too. What I do mean is the fact that this game features so many characters from across the Fire Emblem mythos. From the many lords to the simple mercenaries, heroes to villains, fan favorites to the outlandish, worthwhile characters to thoughts.
Be gone, thoughts!
They have over 200 units that you could get, with only 5 being original creations relevant to the story. Now while this is a gacha, you still have the ability to pull these units for free, and you can easily build a team that suits your needs without even having to spend a dime, as they offer a decent amount of orbs as rewards for quests or even just for logging in for the day. If you do decide to pay though, you're more likely to get a unit you like, but it's still kind of a roll of the dice, but that's the nature of a gacha in general. Hey, I guess that's why they call it gacha. I'm sorry. Hell, they've given plenty of opportunities for free units. They offered a 4-star Corrin early in the game's lifespan. They currently have a Black Knight starter pack, although you do have to pay for it. And if you complete the first chapter of Book...
Make 5-star Hero Fjord an ally! Complete the first chapter of Book 2!
Yeah, that. Anyways, it gives new players a chance
Make 5-star Hero Fjord an ally! Complete the first chapter of Book 2!
I know, I already got her!
Make 5-star Hero Fjord an ally! Complete the first chapter of Book 2!
Make 5-star Hero Fjord an ally! Complete the first chapter of Book 2! Make 5-star
Just get to the next bit, please, it won't
ally.
stop!
Complete the first chapter of Book 2!
Is it fixed? I think it's fixed now. Anyways, they treat their fans right with their content. They've got several different artists working on different characters, talented voice actors for each character, several recognizable maps remade to fit this new system, as well as corresponding music, and etc. Sure, some people aren't too pleased that the seasonal outfits have been mostly comprised of Fates and Awakening characters. However, with the second Choose Your Legends event, the brave heroes we currently have, Sacred Memories Erica, and the new Vanguard Legend Ike happening, the devs show that classic characters still get proper fan service. This game is simple, but trust me when I say that's one of its strengths. Of course, that starts to change when you try to climb the arena. Mobile games seem to be designed to be simple enough for you to understand, while also being small enough to fit on your phone without maxing its storage. Although these days, it's hard not to. Why can't I just drop it in the SD card? I got a big SD card for this. Why can't I just move it? The story is also rather simple to follow. Book 1 focuses on you joining Alphonse, Sharina, and Anna in stopping Veronica's plans to enslave heroes from other worlds. Oh, and Xander is here, helping Veronica. Because why not? There's also this mysterious masked Bruno dude, and the missing Zachary, who was a friend of Alphonse and Sharina's before he went missing. Gee, I wonder if the two are related in some way. Him and Veronica also seem to be going somewhat crazy, as noted by certain bits of the story. Gee, maybe it's because they have uncontrollable dragon blood within them. That hasn't been done before. With Book 2, you've got a bit more to it, with Veronica siding with Muspel and King Surtur, who likes fire. He really likes setting people on fire, just spreading fire. There's fire everywhere. He recently overwhelmed another realm called Niffle. Since your group are the good guys, you assist Fjorm. Good, just had to be sure. Anyways, Fjorm swears to get her revenge on Surtur for killing her mother and destroying Nifl. You eventually find her after she gets her ass kicked, and she basically pledges herself to your cause. Relatively simple for a Fire Emblem story, but what do you really expect? Besides, people don't really need an overtly extravagant story when they're mostly here for the heroes from past Fire Emblem games. There's some other trends from the series that I can see popping up in the future, like a dragon that's the mastermind behind everything, and eventual redemption arcs for Bruno, Veronica, and maybe someone from Muspel. At the end of the day, though, the simple story just works in the game's favor. Now hold up, before you click off the video, I know they haven't been perfect with this, like with the Gunthra and Ira mishaps, but let me explain by looking at another game from this series, and just compare the general marketing strategies. Fire Emblem Warriors. While both games are vastly different, the general idea in marketing was the exact same, a celebration of all things Fire Emblem. So what did Warriors do so differently? They constantly contradicted themselves throughout the development, like when they said they didn't want to focus on the main lords due to the massive amount of sword fighters. Yet what did they do? Added mostly sword fighters anyways. This goes hand in hand for when they said that they wanted to appeal to classic and modern fans. Yet they only added 2 classic characters, one being from a remake, and only gave Shadow Dragon 3 reps. Another example is when they stated that they didn't include Ike or Roy because they planned on adding them into the eventual sequel. Question for the devs: why the hell would you think so far ahead on a sequel when you've hardly polished the game that you were currently working on, and that you were trying to make a sequel for in the first place? I mean, I get planning ahead and all, but doesn't that seem a little bit presumptuous? Let's not forget that 4 of the story mode NPCs were added into the DLC packs, 3 of which are clones of pre-existing characters. For fuck's sake, the free gacha game isn't as cash grabby as a AAA Warriors spinoff. Like fucking what? Look, these people worked on Hyrule Warriors, right? Then how the hell did they screw this up so badly? It can't be IS either, because Fire Emblem Heroes has done a rather well job in the marketing field in comparison. It's got a good roster across all the Fire Emblem games, a simple story that's actually relatively engaging, interesting original characters, proper fan service to both sides of the fan base, and quality control.
What is that?
Keep in mind I don't have a Switch currently, so I haven't played Fire Emblem Warriors for myself. However, I had a friend compare this with Hyrule Warriors, and they claimed that it's much slower and clunkier. I could even kind of tell it from watching some streams when it went live. It does seem like a game I'll try out eventually, but these are some pretty glaring problems. I think it's fair to say that Fire Emblem Heroes is a proper tribute to all things Fire Emblem, more so than Fire Emblem Warriors is. Sure, it's had a few marketing blunders, but in comparison to Fire Emblem Warriors, at least these mistakes are forgivable and can be worked on as time goes on. That and the Heroes team seems to actually care about keeping the fans pleased. All the Warriors team seems to care about is getting people to buy about $30 worth of content that should have just been in the base game to begin with. While I'm usually not one for gachas, this one in particular holds my interest to this day, even a year later. As for the things that this game has done that I'm not fond of, the legendary hero and blessing system is the only thing I can think of. So check it. The only legendary hero that you get for free is Fjorm, which, sure, she gives you a free blessing. But if you don't have Gunthra or the new Ike in a Fire Wind season, you're kinda screwed compared to people that do have one of them. If you don't summon them in like the 4 days they're available, you just have to go, oh well, guess I'll wait another month or 2 for the next one. That and the fact Gunthra seems like she'll be part of the story later. So having to summon her feels kind of strange. Oh, and if you're curious, I've only spent $20 into this game, which helped me in getting my Ninian and Julia, 2 of my MVPs. And I have a decent amount of 5-star units to use that I got outside of those $20. Sure, there are some 5 stars that I don't have that I would have liked. There's Brave Ike that could be fed to my Black Knight. There's Bunny Lucina for my Lucina squad, and there's Sacred Memories Erica and Celica that could replace Leo, who, don't get me wrong, he's a cool guy and all, but
Tomatoes.
Yeah. Anyways, now that this retrospective is said and done, I think I'm going to settle down for a while. I've got another video planned for later this month, of course, and while it's a similar approach to these retrospectives, it relates to a fairly different topic. In a way, I guess you could say I'm going back to my roots. I can't wait for you all to see that. But until then, Goldenbrawler out.